Welcome to the studio, folks, wherever you are in the world. And I have a fun, kind of diversionary subject to talk about today. And it's going to be making cheap throwaway brushes for the studio for those of you that don't like to clean and those of you that don't want to spend a fortune on buying new brushes, particularly for abstract art. You can apply your paint color by thousands of different vehicles. It doesn't have to be a brush that's you've paid an astronomical amount for. Okay, so from with me and being in the studio so much, working with all kinds of materials, this brush idea of a disposable brush came to me for some reason. I have no real understanding why, but I think it's because I don't like cleaning brushes and I don't have the studio space with a sink or availability to do all that kind of cleaning. And given that the studio is pretty hot today, this production might be a little sweaty, and I can tell I'm sweating through my clothes, so that's a little sidetrack. But if you all look at my previous videos, I think 7 months ago I posted a video where I came up with a cheap solution to an easel, and I called it the Art Easel DIY $5, and that number of the video is number 15, and that was made from all throwaway items I found on the sidewalks in New York City. So I was picking through other people's trash, and found furniture, and I readapted it to just create a wall easel for my other studio. And so I kind of came along this same vein of ideas for a throwaway brush. But what you need are thinner, small sheets of cardboard, and if you can, from your local coffee shop, take their coffee sleeves. And actually in my neighborhood, this is a great coffee shop here. It's called Espresso 77, and I know the owner very well, but he might kill me that I'm taking his coffee sleeves and gonna make a unique project out of them. But let me start with the coffee sleeve creation to make a brush. And what I do is I cut them open. Let me get the scissors. So I'll cut them on this side where they join, and then I'll cut the other joiner where they join. And then what I do is, you can see all these fine rivulets in here. What I want to do is cut into those, and what I'm creating is a bit of mimicry of what fibers would be on a brush. So I'm trying to variegate this edge with a lot of incisions with the scissor. So I'll go along the whole top here because I want a feathering effect from this material, just like you get on a brush. So there we go, and I hope you can see that. And so then once I cut into this with the scissors, you can see how I can feather them. So I feathered these here, and I'm going to take them actually one by one, and what I've done is I put them back to back. So I've got a slew of them here, so it creates a thick body. And then I'm going to add this one, and do I have another one here? I don't need another one, so I have a good stack here. So what I'm trying to create is enough of these coffee cup holders to be absorbent of paint and act like a feathering effect or any kind of marking effect that I can get. And you can see I keep spreading them apart. But how I hold these together, I take a clamp, and this is, as I told you, very inexpensive. Both the clamps I have are no more than $3, really. You can find them anywhere at a hardware store. So I clamp that stack of my material that I put together. So this is going to become basically my brush handle, and this is my brush on the end. I'm also doing the same thing with cardboard, thicker cardboard, because I want to see what another effect would look like. Now you can do this with anything that you feel that you want to make a brush out of. You can get twigs, branches, canvas, anything. You can just use your imagination. So what I've done is I've cut out these larger sizes, which will make up my brush, out of cardboard, and I've cut into all these. And basically, here's a template. Let me get my scissors. So I'm kind of cutting out here on an angle just to create that wedge brush look. And then what I do is I cut along the top here to variegate the elevation of all these bristles, and just try to get some variety in the brush so the marks will be irregular. And then I cut in to this cardboard just as well as I did those coffee sleeves. And the reason I do that is so I can create more irregularity to mimic a brush. And then I take all these, stack them up together, and I take, this is a stronger, more pressure contained clamp because this is thicker. And then I create a little gripper here, and I stick that gripper right here just to make it thicker at the base and create more pressure holding these together. So I bend that. That's just a piece of cardboard strip, and I bend it around here to hold it. And you can see I clamp in right there. And I like that. And then I kind of splay this open because I want paint to get caught in here, be held. So as I paint, it can come out. The other thing I do is I cut all these thin strips out of cardboard. You can see them right here. And I'll take those thin strips and I will wedge them into these layers. And by wedging them in, it opens up, makes these layers a little more irregular. So let me do this way. So these cardboard strips are going between my layers here. I can do this, I should have done this in another way of the process. And then I'm holding it together, and let me get another cardboard strip in here. So it's already mimicking a brush. So I have these wedges stuck in between all these layers, so that gives a little more irregularity and a little more of the feel of the next phase, where I'm going to pour out some paint and actually try this on some stretch canvases. And I'm going to lay down a base layer with these, and I just want to see what I get. Okay, this is either going to work or be a big dud. Here we go. Okay folks, I have 3 brushes all ready to go here. And while you weren't watching, I made even a smaller one. I have my paint bucket open. This is a charcoal, deep charcoal gray outdoor paint. I'm going to start trying different house paints, premium outdoor house paints, to create bigger canvases and just to save money on paint, which is pretty astronomical as all art supplies have become. So we're going to start with this big one. I should say the thicker cardboard, and I'm probably going to lay 3 different colors down on these canvases. And I'm going to put down this darker color first, and I'm going to let it get bone dry. And this might go over the whole day or a couple days where I have to walk away and let it dry. I have 3 canvases stacked up here, so I'm going to work on these. These will be future pieces in a series, and I like working in a series, as you've seen my previous posts show, because it forces you to think on a larger production scale and working within tight constraints and limitations that you put on yourself as an artist. But I'm combining experimentation, I'm combining thinking forward about creating product and new pieces, and then I'm trying to devise the system for the new pieces. So this is a lot of the thinking that goes on behind my work, and I'm sure all serious artists works as they work. So let's get this big guy into the paint bucket. And this is a first. I've never seen this happen before. So this is going in the paint bucket. I'm soaking up paint on the end of it. And dipping it in and getting a good body of paint. Okay, this is holding, and let me show you all. This is holding a good body of paint, as you can see it there. I hope you can see it. And we're gonna now apply it. So I'm going to go right through here. Look at that. Look at that. So it works. I love it. So how I use this going down the line, I don't know yet, but at least I'm getting to see how it works. And of course I'm going to cut in here with other colors once this dries. So there, I have pretty effective new kind of brush working. So let's go to this one. There we go. I have more paint on this brush. Wonderful. And what I'm going to do is let the brush dry. I'm not going to clean it. So I'm going to use this brush till it's not usable. So I'm going to let the paint dry, and coming back the next day, it'll have different properties. So it'll create more irregularity. So I like that. I like not being able to predict what's going to happen, because out of that chaos and not knowing, you're going to create your own unique style. Your artwork is going to get more original. That is something. And I don't have to clean this. I can unclamp it and throw it away. And I don't know if I discussed, I just bought this clamp a few days ago in a 99-cent store that was going out of business. It was $2.97, and it had a 20% sale. I think it came out to what, $2.79, something like that, $2.60. So that's under $3. And here's another clamp that I bought years ago at Big Sid's in Brooklyn, a hardware store, and that was $1.99. And while you were gone, of course, I made this smaller brush. But these 2 other brushes I'm going to use to apply other colors on top of this. So let me hit the bottom version here. So I dip back into the paint bucket, get a good swath of paint. And you can see how that paint is setting up in there, gunking up. I like that. And let's see what I can get. Just new stuff. This is a lot of fun. So I'm gonna have fun with this. I don't know what I'll get because I don't know how I'm gonna go down the whole process with colors. If I start drafting on top of it with oil pastel, oil bars, but I know this needs to dry before I get the next color. So this I'm just gonna let dry. I'm gonna close up this paint can. This color did its job. And then with this brush, I'm going to apply another color, and this one a little smaller, another color. And keep in mind, these are totally different swatches. These are made from coffee cup sleeves that you saw me make unique. And you can do this. This is really easy stuff. Okay. Stay tuned for the 2 other color applications with the 2 other brushes, and let's see what we get. Welcome back, folks. I left the studio, let these pieces dry up a little bit, and went home, had dinner, came back, got caught in a rainstorm, so it's quite steamy and pretty hot if you're in the Northeast. Or I don't know where else in the country you are, so it's probably just as hot. But I remembered one thing that I've forgotten to show you guys. I will use sandpaper on pieces that are on canvas, and once it dries or I've layered different layers on, I will go in and sand out areas I don't want, and the canvas takes well to it. Plus if I add future layers of acrylic paint, it gives it a little more tooth and tack for the acrylic paint to stick to. So I have these all about 3/4 dry. If I hit an area with new paint that's not dry, I don't care if it drags and mixes color, because these are going to be such base layers. They're just a form I work with. This is the very beginning, and I'm going to show you these 3 pretty much as step pieces as I drag them along, because I don't usually do how-to or step-by-step videos. I'm trying more to release, as I say above on my YouTube page, I want to release your intuition, your imagination, and your instinct. Your intuition is what's coming to you, your guts, your imagery that you just have an innate feeling for that you need to bring out. Your imagination is all the different vehicles and ways you can go about creating what you're seeing, and how you can reimagine something new or alter any of your images. And your instinct is basically, I like to refer to it as animal instinct. So those are situations where your imagination or your intuition is bringing to you that you feel you must act. You feel you must put this color down, you must put the shape down, and you have no longer any questions or issues about actually externalizing the image you're imagining, because your instinct's telling you it's all a go, put it down, let's do it. And I have a funny phrase, I hope I don't catch hell for it, is I call the visual arts, that we're all involved in, the last savage art. And I'm not meaning in any way to insult a primitive. It's a kind of a definition. If you go to prehistory, the early caveman and prehistoric man made all their imagery or designs by instinct and necessity, and then imagination. So how they were able to create this beautiful artwork on cave walls, stone walls, or petroglyphs carved into stone is quite fascinating. And there was no training. They didn't need an art degree. They didn't need someone to tell them what to do. They didn't need to tell them how to mix paint, and I'll tell you how they mix paint. And they didn't need anyone to tell them how to make a line. There was nobody standing there next to them. Maybe somebody with a lantern burning animal fat on the end of a stick. But nobody told them how to make their pigment. They learned on their own. So, and actually how the pigment's made, I learned when I lived in the Southwest from seeing petroglyph and cave paintings. They would take the natural pigment ground up from the red stone or soil or different organic medium, and they would mix that with something that was protein based. It could have been blood or it could have been animal fat. So that was ground with a kind of like concept of a mortar and pestle. And I have a couple of those stones that they would grind color. And I have found areas out in the West where they do that were used for grinding color and grinding pigment, and then they made their paint somehow and got it up on the wall. So to me, we're all involved in something that's unique and pure. It's not like learning music, learning grammar to write, or what's the other one? Or acting, reciting lines, acting, perfecting acting. So we're a unique art form. So I like that we're free and wild, and that's the way we can be. So the next step with these, and you can tell the big wet areas, these look a little different. When I left you all, I didn't record it, but I was sticking my finger in the wet areas and just creating other line work, kind of visualizing other pathways to go, but not necessarily anything much. And you can see here where I have stuck my fingers in, and I've created new lines, which you won't see in the beginning of the video. Now what I want to do is I want to mix some color, acrylic color paint in a couple batches, and I want to treat each one of these with a different tone. And I'm going to walk you through these as kind of step processes, which I don't do because I'm very unorthodox in my talks and presentation about how I produce my artwork. It's not methodical, it's not A, B, C, D. It's more, as I said, releasing that intuition, imagination, and instinct. For me, it's more of an animal process. So I want to feature maybe like my peach colors that I use on one of these, something kind of like my chartreuse colors that I use in here on one of these, and maybe, you know, one of my warmer grays. So that's how I want to mix these up, and then I want to show you how I'm going to use these other brushes and how they work, because these other brushes I created out of the corrugated products have a totally different texture. So let's see how it works. Okay, hold on. Stay through these videos. You don't want to miss anything because they just get better and better. All my videos take time to warm up, but just hang with them. Okay, thank you. Okay, folks, I'm using Lucas Krill Studio. This is a little bit of an upgraded acrylic paint. It's not student quality, it's a little better. It has nice consistency, good adhesive power. I get this at Jerry's Artorama. And you can see here, I'm actually using one of these corrugated pieces to mix my color a little bit. I'm not adding water to it because I want the most adhesive capacity I can get. So now let me grab, I have this big version of a brush, and I'm just going to go in here and grab some color. And I haven't played with this at all, and I don't know how this is going to work. And then I'm going to add a little more white in here. So I'm just going to get a nice melange mixed up And I'm going to add some more white in here. And keep mixing till I get a chartreuse that I like. I'm starting to get it. And let's see. That's gunked up with paint. Let's see what we got. How it works. This is pretty nice too. This is great. And this is a little softer edged, as you can tell, than the thicker cardboard I use when I put down the black. You see those ridges? I'm not getting these ridges with this softer kind of brush made from the coffee sleeves. You can tell right there how soft and nice it is with the color building up. So this I'm just going to leave down as my base layer, and I can go in here and start to play, wipe out areas. And there's where I get my patinas, where I get my see-through that I make magic with. See, I love that patina coming through here with the black. You see that? It starts to get a little bit otherworldly. Things happen that I couldn't have designed myself. But this is just going to stay down there on the base. And you can see how I'm picking up texture from the thicker layer of base paint. I love that. So right now, I don't think I want to do much to this, much more. Because what I do is I come into the studio and just ruminate on these things and just try to figure out how to go, which ways to go, and which way to apply my paint for the next move. Now I'm a little confused. What's my next move here? That's nice. I don't want any color here, but I'm just gonna and then if you look at this and you look at my bigger pieces on the wall, you're gonna see how I'm almost got the same patina right away. So I'm gonna dispense this paint somehow, and then I'm gonna try another version. So I want you to see another mixed color. I want to come up with my peach colors and see how that works. Okay, so stand by and let me do one more mix. Okay guys, I got a little ahead of myself. I forgot to apply the little brush I have. So I'm going to put some more paint in here and create another color combination I want to add to here, because I see I can use one. So I added a little deeper yellow ochre, a little richer, and I'm going to put a tad darker blue. This they call, I don't even look at the cobalt blue, I don't even look at the names, I just grab the color because that's how fast I work. Okay. I kind of know by looking at the color what I'm going to get, so I'm going to mix the cobalt and the that with the white, the ochre and the white, and let's just see what I get. So I'm getting a different color in here, and this is the smaller brush. That's a nice, right in there, that's a nice color that I want. That's exactly what I wanted. I wanted a little darker. I'll add a little more blue. That's what I wanted. Let's see what I get. Let me load my brush up here, my coffee sleeve brush, and then I you can see mixing all that together. It's beautiful. I love that. And I like the consistency, and I'm going to put it down here, put it down so you can see it. And what's nice is it scrapes up the other underneath layer, and I'm getting a little bit of patina on there, and just gentle toning of it. It's not overbearing. Yep, I had an accident, and then I will put these all back together again, so that's a problem that I'll work out. There we go. So I can come right down in here. I don't want to ruin any. I already love this gentle patina. Doesn't need much. But I'm thinking right here. Right here, I'm giving it right there. I like that there. And let's see, let me go back up in here. I like that. So that's the little brush working. And let's see, let's go right through here, right across. Now, let's do the old rag rub out. So that's just the beginning of a new process. And that's basically what I'm constantly showing through all the little talks and tutorials I give you guys. Always keep that journey to find something new materials, new process, something new that you didn't do last week. Something you didn't do yesterday, always the new. So this is new. I'm excited. I don't know how I'll sleep tonight because it's giving me a lot of ideas, and you see how I can put my fingers in it. This is great. This is acrylic paint. So I'm not worried about it. You know, I can scoop this up. It's looking like mustard. You know, makes a nice line. But oh, I see so much that's going on in here and that I'm going to pull out. So, let's go to another one with another color creation, with another overall toning. I want to go to the peach, maybe fuchsia color, coral color. So let's do that one next, and we'll wrap it up. Okay folks, we're going to mix up a new batch for this bottom piece, and this I'm going to try to attempt to get a peachy color. And let me get this up in here so you can see it. So I have my swatch, and you see my three colors here. I have a fuchsia, a red, a a nice Indian, they call it Indian gold. So I'm going to get my white in here. I kind of just wiped out the last batch of color. Once again, I don't want to fuss over the perfection and cleanness of everything. I like to have accidents happen. See, that's a nice peach right away. No rocket science right there. And bring in a little more of that gold. I'm going to bring it all in. Look at that. That's nice. Bring in some more white. We kind of get pink. Let's go back to the peach, and then let me get that fuchsia in there. I like the fuchsia a little more. There we go. And then I'm going to get this on my, no, that's a smaller brush. I want it on the bigger brush here. Clean it off. There we go. You can see that. So let's dip in here and see where we go. And I have no idea. I just get all this covered. It's important to cover your surface and then let the ideas develop once your surface is covered. So I don't like this central thing in here. Doesn't mean anything to me. It's just the way I did it. But I'm gonna, should I go this way? This way? I kind of like this here, but I don't know if I like this. I see an arc in here. I don't know what to do, but here we go. And then let me come across from here. And then let me hit here. Let me go back in. So I see here a rub out. And what I see is I want to cover this area here, and then I want to rub it out and get a patina. I'm always looking where I can get a patina. And I like that I have some of that blue from picking it up from the palette. You can see it in there. So that's key when I say I want accidents. And then let me get a little. Okay. And I see some blue down here. Let me grab it. Let me just grab it and see what I get. Now, let me see what I can take away. Taking away creates unique accidents, so I see an area in here to take away, and here we go. See, I like when I get those peekaboo toning. You see how that black and that patina coming across the black is unique. And then let's see if I can take up more. Yep. There we go. So you see when I start bearing down, I'm getting some nice things happening. And then I need more rags here in the studio. Let me try this. The paper's a little more abrasive and takes it up. And then when in doubt, use your hands. So I'm using my hands, and this is pretty much how I use my hands on the oil pastel. So I'm taking up color. Now I want to take up color over here. I want to get the color up out of this corner. There we go. And then I really want to bear down in this section and get all the, see if I can get all the color out of here. There we go. See that? I like that. But this is the very beginning, but it's enough that it excites me, and this is why I get in the studio every day. It's for the little surprises. It's very hard to get surprises that excite you in daily life today, believe me. Okay, now let's go to the little brush. I got my little brush going on here, and let's see what I can do. And this is a bit of a real nice fuchsia pink. This is a nice tropical kind of color right there. I don't know where this goes. I have no idea. Where does it go? Where does it go? And this is what it's like. I kind of like it, believe me or not, just from the corner. I like it up here in the corner. And I'm feathering it in. So this, boy, I'll tell you, this is the coffee cup holder sleeves. Works very nice. It has a soft, very soft touch like a brush. And I think that's because of the nature of the paper. It's maybe a little better than the corrugated paper. Plus, it has a lot of these rivulet edges, tubes that run through that whole paint. So, let's see. And get this across. So and let me get in here with my hand. And I want to take away up in here. There we go. And the beauty is I can go in here and grab some color with my finger and put some other color in here. So I don't know what I really got going, but it's just the beginning of something to work with, to bounce off the imagination. and bring more to it. But all these brushes, I'm gonna let these dry and keep using them. I can reopen them up and they'll have a different effect on a different day. So I probably can get 3 or 4 uses of these, but I like the coverage versus a synthetic hairbrush or an acrylic brush. It's a little different. It's a different look, less polished, and that's the goal in my work, to have it not too polished, but coming across in a real organic fashion. But this is beautiful. This working with an acrylic house paint below that is pretty rugged, and because that house paint below is a gloss, all this slides off of it, but all this is going to dry and adhere nicely. So that sliding of color creates stuff that I never thought of. So once again, experiment, experiment, experiment. Try crazy things, be crazy, be instinctual, be that savage artist in your studio, and I hope you like this. And if you like it, please subscribe and please like this video. Man, it really helps for putting all these together. Okay, you all have a great night. It's been a long one. Well, I think I'm pleasantly happy and surprised how well the corrugated products that I use to make these pseudo art brushes out of actually work. They spread color well, they held color well, and they're able to mix color. And I will get probably 3 to 5 or 6 sessions, if I'm lucky, out of using these. I can see that I would only use these for the base layer, the quick covering options of my future artworks. I don't see them as being finesse tools, but the project worked.